How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys, Alex and Ryan. Been a minute since I've been on the podcast. Ryan's been holding it down for us as the Yankees go on a really crazy win stretch here. I mean, they've been absolutely electric. I've been watching all the games, keeping up with everything as always. But, Aaron Judge turning things around, man. I mean, Ryan, looking at this team right now, you get DJ LeMahieu back there. We're going to talk about him, talk about return of Ian Hamilton from the COVID list as well. But DJ LeMahieu, he's batting ninth today. Like, what a luxury to have a guy like this with contact qualities like his. The fact that if he gets hot, if he even just gets to his averages, this guy's going to be really good for the Yankees, having him wrap around. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot to me. You actually wrote about this earlier today, like Gleyber Torres heating up. Like,
Yep.
if Gleyber, I know he made that big error. Like, that error was bad. Don't get me wrong. But if he can keep hitting, man, like, you got him and LeMahieu, like, 7th and 9th, dude. Like, what? Wells, Trevino hitting 8th, somewhere in that range. Like, right now, dude, I just feel good about this offense. Like, look at last year, dude. Last year, disaster, man. Like, oh my gosh, dude. I can't even think about this team in any other way than, like, just greatness,
It's a luxury to have LeMahieu. Like, look, last year was kind of weird because the first half of the year was really bad for him, and then Dylan Lawson gets fired. They bring in, Sean Casey, and DJ's numbers skyrocket, and I don't think that's a coincidence, right? I personally don't think that's a coincidence. I think they changed the way he was hitting. I think they changed his fundamentals. They tweaked things. James Rousing has been absolutely killing it for us. I mean, he is getting max value out of pretty much everybody except for a few guys that are still trying to fight off a cold stretch to open this year. What do you think the importance of having DJ at 9 as they wrap around to the top of the order, a guy that can make contact, get on base, and you have him on base, then you have Volpe, who now maybe sees a spike in RBI, spike in, getting guys, scoring, runners in scoring position, a little bit more production there. I think that we could see a better offense, like maybe not just better, but a significantly better offense if LeMahieu just reaches his potential.
Dude, for sure. Like, I mean, I'll be happy with 100 WRC plus. I think the biggest thing for me is third base defense. Like, love Cabrera, but he has like -4 outs above average there. LeMahieu's top 10 defensive runs saved and outs above average at third base. Like, that's a luxury. Like, infield defense, I'm sorry. Like, out of all the things I think have pissed me off about this team, which is really just one, it's just the defensive inconsistencies from time to time. And then just like, and I kind of want to spin this to you with Rousing. Doesn't it feel like kind of how Garrett Cole is like the leader of the pitching staff, and because him and Blake are sewn in soon, like it kind of bleeds into everybody else. Having Judge, who him and Rouse are just lockstep. There's no disagreements. There's no gap between the two. It feels like it almost like everyone else is gonna fall in line. You know what I mean? Like, Judge kind of is like, and I'm not comparing Judge to Tom Brady and Bill Belichick to James Rousing, but the same way that Tom Brady buying into Bill Belichick lets everybody else fall into place, a guy like Aaron Judge saying, yeah, this is my guy, everyone else is going to fall into place with James Rousing. There's no insubordination there, you know what I mean?
There's no insubordination, that's for sure. I mean, when these guys are performing at the way that we've been seeing, I mean, Judge turning things around, it was only a matter of time. And shout out to the guy who wanted to send him to AAA, absolute meth head. Like, straight up right off
Dude,
of
you
Kensington
have
Street.
to. Twitter's like, okay, I don't want to be like mean, but like there's like the community tab on like Twitter. If you go to the Yankee Twitter community tab, like every week you just find a guy who, it's a different person every week too. It's not the same person, and you can just tell they like ripped a bong of crack before they fired off like the single worst tweet you see. Did you see that tweet? I think it was like suggesting, I forget what exactly it was, but I think it was suggesting that like the Yankees, I gotta check, I gotta find this, dude. It was one of the worst, like I think it's one of the worst tweets I've ever seen in my life. I have to find this thing. I have to. I can't find it. Where is this thing?
It's horrible what some fans think makes sense. I mean, that one is specifically like Hall of Fame bad. Judge going to AAA is like, I don't even, let's move past it, to be quite honest. It's like not even worth discussing. But DJ LeMahieu's impact on this team, I mean, we've had Oswaldo Cabrera batting 9th. We've had John Birdie batting 9th. By the way, John Birdie obviously going down with a high-grade calf sprain. He's going to be out for quite a while. And I like Birdie. I actually think he's a good player. I think that he's, was starting to heat up at the end. He had 272 batting average, was solid defensive player, 95th percentile in speed. I like John Birdie. I think he's going to be a good player for us down the road when he comes back from this injury now. Cabrera's, he stepped up, been a little bit volatile at times, but he's done more than enough to earn his spot on this roster. Now he's the primary guy. Here's the narrative I want to spin to you. DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo's been volatile, inconsistent to say it at least. The impact that DJ LeMahieu is going to have on Anthony Rizzo is going to be going under the radar here. Rizzo has had like 1 day off this whole season. Like, he needs time off. He is older. He has the chronic back injury. Like, he's got to get some days off here. LeMahieu returning is going to give him plenty of opportunities to rest. Do you think that is important? I personally think that's one of the more underrated things that DJ is bringing to this team, his ability to play first base at a pretty high level.
Yeah, like Rizzo has a 102 WRC plus. Last year was 100. He slugged 378 last year. He's slugging 377 this year. Like, we're 54 games into the season. If you date back to that concussion, he's been a below average hitter. Like, it's not good. It has not been good. It got really well. Like, there was a point in time where we had talked about this, and then he hit like 7 home runs in like 2 weeks. We looked like the meth heads talking about the Yankees. But yeah, man, like having LeMahieu spell, Rizzo some time off every now and then, that can definitely help. And when you look at the deadline, if LeMahieu can be like a solid third baseman for you, or like just give you something offensively, then maybe you focus on just getting one corner infielder, but like getting a really big upgrade. Like, I'd rather get one great player than like a couple of mediocre ones. You know what I mean? Because like they need the difference between, like, the reason the 2022 team fell apart was because of a bad deadline. Like, if you remember, Montas and Benintendi got hurt, right? Like, even Efros tore his UCL before the postseason. Lou Trevino was the only deadline addition that did anything for this team in the postseason. Like, you've gotta nail your deadline additions. But I think, yeah, LeMahieu, I don't want to say it's over for Rizzo, but I am gonna go as far as to say, like, I think we're in, all right, something's not right here, because it's not trending upwards, it's trending in the wrong direction. And I guess the question to ask you, Alex, is, looking at the lineup construction, like, LeMahieu hitting 9th, I think, gives him a chance to kind of fight up the order. Is there anything else you're changing? Do you think is Rizzo 6th fine for now, or are you kind of looking at there and saying, are we shuffling that around a little bit?
Rizzo 6. Right now it's between him and Glaber, right? I think that Rizzo 6 is fine because you want that lefty bat in there. I think it just gives you a little bit more diversity, especially if you have Wells batting 8th. Right now I think that Glaber, Rizzo, you could interchange them, but I like the kind of flip-flop there. You got like Volpe, Soto, Judge, Stanton. Stanton righty as well. Then when you have Rizzo, or rather Verdugo. Sorry, Verdugo's batting 4th, then Stanton. So you have that flip-flop. If you're an opposing pitcher, that's kind of annoying. You know what I mean? Like, you're not really getting momentum because, like, you're throwing against righty and then you have to go right up to against left, and it changes your entire way you're pitching. If you're pitching against like 5, 6, 7 righties, sometimes 4 or 5 in a row, you're starting to get in kind of groove of like, okay, I know I'm locating this pitch exactly where it needs to be. This is exactly where I want it to be. You're starting to get the corners, trying to get where your accuracy needs to be. Then you have a lefty, and you have to change it to the other side. You have to have pitches breaking away or breaking in other places. So I think having that flip-flop nature has done the Yankees a lot of really good services, personally. I think the results are speaking for themselves. They have like top 10 in like batting average, on base percentage, slugging, home runs. Like, usually we're seeing like bottom 10 in batting average, but high in home runs. Now we're seeing all of it come together and accumulate to like a really well balanced lineup that focuses on small ball contact, but also is hitting long balls. I do credit a lot of that to the more diversified lineup that we do have now. So I like the flip-flopping nature. I think that after Stanton, I like Rizzo because I like going back to the lefty, and then you get Glaber in 7. In the 7 hole, and then you have Wells as a lefty, and then back to LeMahieu as a righty. I think that's a really interesting, tough lineup to get through, man, because you don't have any consistency there. Every single batter is different. You have to put the ball in different places, and you probably don't have the ability to just locate as well as you'd like to because of that kind of that concept.
Yeah, let me blow you away here with a stat. The Yankees lead all of baseball in barrels, which, like, yeah, as you mentioned, like that's not new. The Yankees are really good at that. They have the 2nd lowest swinging strike rate and the 6th lowest strikeout rate. These guys don't swing and miss, and they're destroying the baseball. Like, if you look at the really good Astros teams, they don't swing and miss, and then they do a ton of damage when they do make contact. And I think kind of a big, like, I think the biggest question we had about the lineup, I think going into the year, was really the leadoff spot, right? And quiet, not quietly, it's not quiet at this point, but Anthony Volpe, man, he's got a 19-game hitting streak, right? Like, the dude's mashing, and this was what the tweet was about. Anthony Volpe should be the everyday second baseman in 2025. That was the crackhead tweet I was referring to. That's one of the worst. He has 7 outs above average at shortstop, by the way. The guy is going to contend for another Gold Glove. But getting back to his offense here, like, dude, after that slump in like late April where you're like, oh no, is it like falling apart for him? just snaps right into it. And he has a 129 WRC plus. If he gives you a 120 WRC plus and plays this caliber of defense, like, we're not talking about like a nice complimentary player the way we were like, oh, that'd be a nice thing for him to do this year. No, we're talking about a superstar, man. Like, we're talking about, like, that's what like Francisco Lindor was doing for years. Like 120 something WRC plus, Gold Glove caliber defense. Like, could you imagine that kind of outcome? And you've got him, and, you know, obviously we don't know what Soto yet, but I do think the Yankees will retain him. You've got Volpe to Soto to Judge. Like, dude, that's one of the best trios in baseball. Statistically speaking, how many trios have been better this year? Not the Dodgers trio. Like, they're just that good right now. And Volpe, I just like, what he's done at the leadoff spot is so important, because instead of having LeMahieu plug and play coming off some foot injury, dude, last year I was complaining, like, not complaining, but I was saying Rizzo's 102 WRC plus, like, is that a problem? Last year, DJ LeMahieu had a 101 WRC plus and was our best leadoff hitter. Like, Willie Calhoun hit fourth. Isaiah Carter-Falefa hit fifth. Like, Oswald Peraza hit second last year. Did you know Oswald Peraza bat second for the Yankees for a game in April last year? I wasn't aware of that. Like, the changes are different, man. The lineup's so deeper. It's so much deeper.
It's not even close. I mean, look, LeMahieu batting ninth is, like I said, a luxury item. That is like, okay, this embarrassment of riches. Let's throw this freaking, 12-year veteran into the lineup who, last season showed some really nice progress at the end of the year. Now, we don't know what LeMahieu is going to be. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like, he's going to be amazing. He could stink, but at the very least, we know that he has the capacity not to suck, and that's kind of a little bit better than what the Yankees had last season, so we'll take it. And, just talking about maybe one last thing here, projections and whatnot. This starting rotation, I'll ask you this question. It's one that's been burning in the back of my mind. If you had to make a decision right now, this rotation's been absolutely excellent, right? Just excellent. Like, beyond anything we thought. Rodon's bounced back. Cortez is, the fact, guy, I think Cortez is like a 3.29 ERA, and we talk about him as if he has a 5 ERA, right? Like, it's freaking stupid. It's an embarrassment of riches. It's really fortunate. Luis Gil looks like he's going to win a freaking Cy Young Award this year. And by the way, if he does maintain his pace right now, he might win a Cy Young Award this year. He's been that freaking good. Or he's going to be at least an all-star, right? And then you look at, obviously, Clark Schmidt. Guy's taken a tremendous step forward. What happens when Garrett Cole returns? Right now, I guess you have to push Nestor Cortez to the bullpen. I know some people still believe that Heel could end up in the bullpen, and mainly because of an innings type of restriction. But at this point, I think you have to let him keep going. I don't think that there's a reason to make him stop, unless you really are worried or like there's concern there. But what do you think? What do you think happens when Cole returns? I think right now it's such a hard decision. They're going to be rolling with a 5-man, I believe. So someone is going to end up in the bullpen.
Yeah, so like the unfortunate answer is probably like injuries will decide that. But like every time I say that, the weeks pass by and Garrett Cole comes close to returning, and knock on wood, the 5 guys who were scheduled to pitch. So, like, I still think that there's going to be some factor if somebody's going to get fatigued and hurt or whatever's going to happen. But, like, you can't pull Heel from the rotation, man. Like, he's your best starter. And then Nestor, like, I know a lot of people like to dog on him, as you mentioned. He's, like, again, 3.29 ERA. Most important thing, he leads the team in innings pitched. And like, that's important, man. Like, having a guy who could pitch deep into games, and I feel like his outings are a little more stress-free than, like, Stroman's or Rodon's. I'm pretty sure the underlying metrics back that up. Like, his expected ERA is 2.85. Like, for context, Luis Seal's expected ERA is 2.78. Like, I'm not saying Nestor is, like, a Cy Young winner or anything like that, but I really think a lot of people overplay, like, how unpleasant he's been in the rotation. He's been a good starter, like, objectively speaking. And then looking at, like, Rodon, Stroman, like, they're good. Like, I think they're good. It's just been a little bit rockier, especially with Stroman. It feels like Stroman, it's kind of like, hold your breath every inning. You kind of watch him pitch, and you're like, how the hell have you only allowed 1 run, that kind of thing, which is fine. I'll take results. Sometimes better to be lucky than good, and I feel like he's made changes to walk fewer batters. But, dude, like, Clark Schmidt's kind of floating on the right because of how good Luis Seal's been. Clark Schmidt's been balling, dude. Like, considering where he was last year, considering like we were talking about, is he a starter or not? Considering that when the Yankees traded Michael King, I think you and I both agreed, like, Michael King was a better starter, and Michael King's getting outpitched by Clark Schmidt. So obviously we'll see how the season how that holds up, but I don't know what the choice is, man. Like, you can't pull Rodon, you can't pull Stroman, even though, again, like, you would say, looking at expected ERA, those are your 2 worst starters, and I put worst in very heavy quotation marks. I don't know who to pull. I really don't. That's such a good question. Like, it's such a good thing to have, because come the postseason, like, even in 2022, like, you remember when all 5 of those dudes were balling, Jameson Towns started game 1 of the ALCS, right? Like, you were out of starters. You need this depth.
do need this depth, and it's a luxury because last year we would have been begging the Yankees to go and land someone at the trade deadline, and now we have a guy that's going to be sitting there waiting in case emergency unfolds, and we need him to step in. So this Yankee team is firing on all cylinders, my friends. I mean, if you're familiar with our social media channel, you know that I think since we started posting our winning graphics, it's a video compilation of just ridiculous things every single day that Sam puts together. It's absolutely hilarious, and I think we're like, what are we, 17-2 since posting them? So maybe 17-3. They've been very, very good luck for us. We love it.
Maybe we save the season. We say, what if we save the season? Right?
SpongeBob saved the season. That's my take right now. If you know the videos, you would know that there's been a heavy bunch that have been SpongeBob as my request. I love SpongeBob, but this is it's fun. Like when the Yankees are winning, we can have fun with our content. We can have fun with you guys. We can do cool stuff, and the vibes are good. The energy's high, and we want to keep it that way. So hopefully, we beat the absolute brakes off the Angels over the next couple days. Get right again after that. Last game loss against the Padres, and I think that day off yesterday is going to be really important. A little Memorial Day day off, which is certainly hopefully none of the players are a little intoxicated today, but I think they probably just enjoyed time with their family. Had a couple burgies and dogs, and got back on the horse
dogs
today.
With the
back
dogs,
on the wagon.
man. Some dogs with the dogs,
man. Some dogs with the dogs.
Yeah, what's wrong with a little Bud Light and some Bops? Like, what's wrong with that? You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that.
I say it's actually a requirement of Memorial Day. Nothing more, nothing less. At least one, Bud. At least one.
I will say one thing. Like, I don't want to watch the walks again. Like, maybe Gleyber and Rizzo had a couple too many. You know what I mean? Maybe the boys were popping a little bit too much the night before Sunday. But not. I mean, dude, this team's rolling. Like, how can you complain about this team right now? Like, I don't got it in me, man.
Yeah, liquid confidence. We'll take it. We'll take everything that we can get. But, guys, love to hear your thoughts below in the YouTube comment section. As always, on this Yankee team, the vibes are good. We're excited. We're happy. Things are going really well. Knock on wood, obviously. Hopefully, everybody stays healthy. Getting some good key pieces back today. Ian Hamilton's also supposed to come back today as well, so another high leverage arm there. The team gets healthier. John Birdie going down stinks, but, two guys come back in his place. And, that's kind of the way the season's gone up to this point. But hopefully, it's not just a first half thing, but a second half thing when we need them to step up and play their best when the postseason comes around. But obviously, we got you guys covered on all platforms on Fireside Yankees over the next couple of months as we get through the grueling summer months. But enjoy every single second of it because this team is really freaking good. As always, make sure to like and subscribe. And we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.